if you were on the scene and you were powerful, like, to be honest, like, if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
She wrote, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god.
Epstein was possibly about to cooperate with the feds right before he died.
Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein.
The Department of Justice released more than 3,000 documents surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, and Oprah's name appears several times in the released documents, mostly in contact lists and correspondences, which has fueled speculation online about how well they actually knew each other. From pictures of Oprah with Epstein to their emails, they may link to her involvement. In this video, we're going to look at Epstein files and find out if Oprah is really connected to all of this. Oprah's name appears in the Epstein files many times across court filings, emails, contact lists, and testimony summaries. Just being mentioned doesn't mean she's guilty, but it may not be a coincidence, especially when you keep in mind all the rumors about her circulating online over the years. Critics online have questioned why certain powerful names keep appearing around Epstein's network even though being listed doesn't mean involvement in any crimes. Some observers argue that high-profile friendships like hers may have unintentionally helped normalize Epstein socially. Emails suggest Epstein hoped to rebuild his reputation through media connections, including people with major platforms like Oprah, although some say the emails are fake. To understand if Oprah was really helping Epstein, we need to go all the way back to 2007. Around this time, Oprah launched the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. Years later, the school faced a serious scandal involving abuse by a staff member, which critics say damaged Oprah's carefully curated humanitarian image. That same year, reports of young girls disappearing started to come out. Before long, a female dorm matron was accused of physically abusing students. More than 15 girls came forward with complaints of mistreatment. Some students later questioned how much leadership knew at the time, though no evidence ever showed Oprah personally knew about.
The trial spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, please come forward.
A tweet about Oprah's alleged relationship with Epstein reads, Epstein documents revealed that a woman stated on record that Epstein offered her money to birth babies for black market use. The email also mentions John of God, who has ties to Oprah, who was sent to prison for keeping women and children in an underground lair where he would rape them for years and birth babies for organ harvesting and black market purchases. He would then eliminate the women and children when they were no longer useful or could produce children. This was one sick monster who deserves more than prison and the most severe punishment possible. This might sound shocking, but several celebrities have confirmed that there are industry executives who actually buy babies for ritualistic purposes. Peter J. Nygaard, one of Oprah's guests, was even caught on tape trying to bribe black women to give him their aborted fetuses. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on in Hollywood.
You can get paid a lot more than that.
How much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $100. You know, whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me. $60,000 for the eggs. Yeah. If you have a portion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, you know, and the placenta, your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We regard it as waste, but it actually should be. It should be captured and recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody else. It's life for but the best things are 60 years old. Those are the best things.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So you may not be able
no, that's fine. I'm doing my business anyway.
Using stem cells and blood from other people, especially children, is far more common than you might think. After news that Jeffrey Epstein was using kids broke out, Nicki Minaj actually tweeted what she had learned from her time in the industry. She didn't name names directly, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that her words were aimed at the same elite circles now appearing repeatedly in the Epstein files.
Here's what Nicki Minaj had to say. She wrote, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when you're mastering Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. She's not the first person in Hollywood to say that. I don't know how much could be in our face anymore before we wake up and realize these people are ruling over us. and they win when we're fighting with each other. That's just reality. I really don't see how you can have a ton of success in Hollywood and not be in love, because Hollywood is founded on this. I just don't really care what you call me. It's time for everyone to look.
Everything boils down to one question. What was Jeffrey doing with the children he was with? This question has two different answers depending on who you ask. Some of Epstein's victims actually came forward and testified about how Epstein was trying to run some kind of messed up baby farm at his ranch. The statement given by the victim reads, Epstein told scientists and businessmen about his ambitions to use his New Mexico ranch as a base where women would be inseminated with his sperm and would give birth to his babies. Mr. Epstein's goal was to have 20 women at a time impregnated at his 33,000-foot Zorro ranch in a tiny town outside Santa Fe. For Epstein, this wasn't about pleasure at all. Epstein was obsessed with eugenics, genetic engineering, and breeding his own lineage. And he wasn't talking about this in his secret basement. He was hosting dinners, lunches, and conferences with some of the most powerful scientists on Earth. This even led him to research designer babies. He wanted to breed the perfect human.
In the Epstein files, it literally shows emails that Jeffrey Epstein was creating designer babies. I really want to know why we haven't heard the DOJ talk about this, especially since some of the survivors said this happened to them in Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico property, Zorro Ranch. How I found out that he was working with another person to create these designer babies is because I saw him ordering a lot of 23andMe kits, and he was sending them to a lot of different people as gifts. In this email, he was sending some to Woody Allen and his adopted daughter at one point in time, who's now one. And I started to see a lot of emails in the Epstein files of people saying that they were pregnant to Jeffrey Epstein, or even alluding that he had actual children. Like this email in 2011 to Jeffrey Epstein, and it appears to be from Sarah Ferguson, and it said, "You have disappeared. I didn't even know you were having a baby. It's so crystal clear to me that you were only friends with me to get to Andrew, and that really hurt me deeply, more than you will know. Congratulations on your baby boy." And this email in 2006 from Glenn Dubin to Jeffrey Epstein. "I get pictures of you flying over Mount Fiji, and I have to find out from Benghazi that you have twin babies. Eva and I are so excited for you. Please send pictures ASAP." And Glenn Dubin says, "Test tube babies, just thinking." Started looking up the term babies in the Epstein files, and this is when I came across this. It was titled Designer Babies in August of 2018, and he has it on like an agenda. Then I found this email, and it's from Brian Bishop to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's Designer Babies / Brian Bishop. So I looked up who Brian Bishop was, because I was like, why are they saying Designer Babies? And it says, Brian Bishop is a software engineer and a biohacker who gained attention for his attempts to fund and advance a do-it-yourself, or DIY, designer baby project using Bitcoin. His project aimed to utilize the CRISPR gene editing technology to engineer human embryos for enhanced traits, such as increased muscle mass or improved memory. And this is the next email I found about designer babies, and it's from Brian Bishop to Jeffrey Epstein, and it says, "Here is a deck about my designer baby project. I have talked with Austin again, and we have a series of questions about how serious you are about wanting this, and what are the ground rules for me even exploring this with you and getting to next."
Disgusting things were happening on Epstein's Island, and after Jeffrey got arrested in 2006, he was looking for a plan to rehabilitate his image. So he did what powerful people always do when the spotlight gets too close. He tried to buy legitimacy. After his arrest, Epstein pivoted hard into philanthropy. He started donating to charities, funding academic programs, and inserting himself into elite humanitarian and scientific circles. Universities took his money, nonprofits welcomed him, prestigious institutions gave him a seat at the table even though he was already a registered offender. This, however, didn't work as well as he was hoping. And so, Epstein decided he needed someone people trusted to come out and vouch for him.
Let's talk about Oprah. Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the file, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein. What do you mean? Well, Sarah Ferguson, yes, the Duchess of York, she is involved with Epstein, and she is involved with Oprah. Let's talk about this specifically. Sarah sent Epstein an email saying, "I want to make sure you're aware I'm going on Oprah tomorrow, and she is going to ask you about my debts." the entrapment of last year, and the press about you in January. It'll be quick and at the top of this show, all of 10 seconds, a very small piece. However, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this and seek your advice on how you want me to answer. It will be a tiny piece. This is straight up collusion. This is Oprah passing through a message to Epstein. And you know what? Jeffrey responded to Sarah with the answer that he was supposed to give. Jeffrey was unfairly characterized as a pedophile by the tabloid press. Many years ago, Jeffrey pleaded guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. He paid his debt to society and has sought forgiveness. I have nothing more to say. This was in 2011. This is clear collusion between Oprah, Sarah, and Jeffrey.
Keep in mind that Oprah has been friends with a convicted spender that has been exposed in the entertainment industry. Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Sean Diddy Combs. Oprah was friends with some questionable people, and I think if it's happening every single time, it's a pattern. Harvey Weinstein was celebrated in Hollywood for decades, and Oprah defended him publicly. And did he? He was embraced, promoted, and protected until the walls finally started closing in.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happened, and I've seen these kind of things play out in front of me.
Okay. When you say you've heard this story, what stories?
I mean, you see people around Carrie made $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously pregnant. Or Martin Lawrence, because she's screaming, he's waving a gun on the street screaming. They're trying to.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next platform.
Yeah. Did you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being.
And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. The baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. Bushman, that's not the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink it. And in that analogy, I felt like that. But I was smart enough to let go.
As long as people are making money in Hollywood, they don't care what the kids are going through. You get paid millions of dollars for your silence, and they literally buy you to keep you in control. These predators trap other celebrities by offering them huge amounts of money, and if you accept, you end up falling under their control. You get paid millions not just to perform, but to look the other way, to stay quiet, to stay obedient. That's how the system works. Critics argue that Hollywood's power structure often protects insiders, allowing some figures to thrive while controversies get brushed aside. A few years ago, Chappelle said he turned down a major deal because he didn't trust the industry's expectations, a decision some fans now see differently. After Dave said no, Oprah made fun of him. He was mocked, dismissed, and labeled difficult. For years, people laughed at his decision. But now with everything you know about how power operates in Hollywood, many are asking whether Dave saw the trap before it closed. Because when someone refuses the money, refuses the silence, and refuses the control, they don't just walk away from a contract, they walk away from the system. At the time, no one realized why Dave was doing this, but now everything is becoming clear.
And the chairman of a prominent law firm is stepping down over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Weiss law chair Brad Karp says in a statement, quote, "Recent reporting has created a distraction and has placed a focus on me that's not in the best interest of the firm." The firm says Karp will remain with the firm, just in a different role. Senior Washington reporter Will Staken is here for more. Hi, Will. So what's the latest on this growing list of prominent people facing scrutiny over the Epstein files?
Yeah, Diane, well I think, Mr. Karp right here is kind of the latest fallout from these Epstein files. Like you said, the really powerful law firm, Paul Weiss, announced that Mr. Karp would be stepping down after his name appeared in these files. Now, the law firm did not give a reason why Mr. Karp is stepping down, and previously the law firm denied Mr. Karp had any wrongdoing, but with this release of these files, his name appears in the files, mostly with his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Mr. Epstein. But there's an email between Mr. Karp and Epstein where he's asking about if he could help, get his son some kind of job in an upcoming Woody Allen film. So I think these emails, obviously are continuing to have fallout across, widespread industries. It's kind of the latest fallout here. We saw recently that popular wellness influencer Peta Attia also stepped down from his role at the protein company David.
The list of people Epstein was involved with keeps growing. With this new release, however, all of it is slowly starting to make sense. And the names of the people involved are insane. U.S. presidents, tech CEOs, some of the richest people on the planet, and even members of royal families are now being dragged back into the spotlight. What's wild is how many of these names were already floating around years ago, quietly mentioned and quickly dismissed. Back then, the media framed them as coincidences or unproven associations. But with the latest batch of documents, those same names are reappearing alongside concrete timelines, repeated contact, and direct links to Epstein's operations.
You've known his name before. There are more unsettling allegations surrounding Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. Yep, came out as part of the release. It was revealed that back in 2013, Epstein allegedly claimed that Gates was looking to get medication to treat an STD because of having sex with Russian girls. Keyword Russian. We'll get back to that. Yeah, apparently Epstein had penned this draft email on behalf of a Gates advisor who wanted to maybe leave the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So Epstein seemingly wrote in this guy's voice, "In my role as his right hand, I had been asked on multiple occasions and in hindsight wrongly acquiesced into participating in things that have ranged from the morally inappropriate to the ethically unsound, and had been repeatedly asked to do other things that get near and potentially over the line into the illegal. From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of to the Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. I feel I owe it to my friends and future colleagues to admit a moral failure." So there was a spokesperson for Bill Gates who rejected the allegations, saying these claims are absolutely absurd and completely false.
Several careers have been destroyed because of this release, and in the middle of it all is another billionaire, Bill Gates. Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein weren't strangers. They had a real documented relationship that kicked off around 2011. And yes, that's after Epstein had already been convicted for offenses. So, this wasn't an oops, we didn't know yet situation. They met multiple times and had private dinners and meetings in New York.
Everybody that was very powerful. So if you were on the scene and you were powerful, to be honest, if you're not in those files, it would be an insult, because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
Right, so the people who aren't in the files.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the files?
Of course I am, because it's any journalist that wrote about it.
That's an astonishing attitude, isn't it? You're the loser because you're not in this. I find that jaw-dropping.
It's insane how Epstein was somehow connected to the biggest, most powerful men in the world. Did no one care that Epstein was a convicted pedophile? Well, apparently not. Some billionaires actually thought it was cool and wanted to be friends with Epstein even more after his arrest. According to a legal letter and emails included in the files, Prince Andrew and Epstein allegedly asked an exotic dancer to perform acts at Epstein's Florida home, promising payment that was never fully delivered. The documents also suggest Epstein arranged international meetings between Andrew and other young women, including a 26-year-old Russian woman in London in 2010. 2 years after Epstein's conviction for soliciting a nap, Prince Andrew has had to give up everything as a result of his association. But here's the thing, he doesn't regret anything. His ex-girlfriend actually said that being on the list means that you're cool.
Just get real and say, gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, was he working for?
Well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Asset.
Yeah. And a guy who could move money.
he definitely
good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money in no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, you know, if you're state funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and, you know, there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a contract. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap? So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman. I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s, and she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are jumping around.
While he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously nerd fishing.
All of this begs the question, how was Epstein even allowed to be in the spaces that he was? Epstein didn't just stumble into these circles, he was placed there. Relationships like that are built through gatekeepers, intermediaries, and institutions that benefit from keeping certain people connected and certain secrets buried. Royal families don't socialize with random financiers unless someone they trust is vouching for them, and that's the most uncomfortable part of this entire story. Given how long Epstein operated unchecked, many people question whether powerful institutions failed to investigate him aggressively enough.
According to an FBI record, Epstein was possibly about to cooperate with the feds right before he died. That on July 29, 2019, his lawyers and the federal prosecutors in this case, in very general terms, discussed the possibility of a resolution of the case and the possibility of the defendant's cooperation. Cooperation's key. Defense counsel did not make a specific proposal, and they did not indicate what the nature of Epstein's cooperation might be, if any. But it was suggested that defense counsel contact SDNY if Epstein was prepared to accept responsibility for his conduct and/or they had a specific proposal for a resolution of this case. Okay, so maybe he was going to work out a deal and then he dies, right? That looks suspicious. This is a guy who had connections to the rich and powerful, potentially had a lot of information. Strange, he just died.
Finally, the most shocking revelation of all. There have been reports and speculation about whether Epstein cooperated with authorities, but no confirmed agreement has been publicly released. Recently released reports show that right before his death, Epstein agreed to cooperate and named everyone that he worked with. Officially, it was ruled as such, but between the malfunctioning cameras, the guards falling asleep, the broken bones in his neck, and the fact that he allegedly had information that could implicate billionaires, politicians, royalty, and intelligence-linked figures. And here's the part no one likes to say out loud. If Epstein was naming names, even preliminarily, that would mean some of the most powerful people on the planet had a direct incentive for him to never testify. Now, to be clear, there is no public list, no confirmed cooperation agreement released in full, and no official acknowledgement that Epstein formally became an informant before his death. That looks suspicious. This is a guy who had connections to the rich and powerful, potentially had a lot of information. Strange, she just dies, right? We're told to trust the headlines, trust the official conclusions, trust that justice was served. But if that were true, why does this story still feel unfinished? Why are there so many names, so many documents, and so little accountability? Maybe Epstein was just one man, or maybe he was a middleman, a hub, a liability that knew too much.